Project Services Limited. It's a business idea that conglomerates across certain industries: the media and entertainment industry, the logistic industry, signage and branding, and of course, investments, mostly in real estate. But yes, that's like the borderline of what we do at NIRVANA Project Services Limited. I went to university with the idea of being an engineer. You know how we all grew up and everybody wanted to be engineers and doctors and all of that. But our times have fast changed. By the time I was in my third year in university, I kind of was certain that I was primed to do something by myself, basically not under somebody. I knew the importance, of course, of learning first. So even when I graduated school, I worked for a couple of years under different people just to gather experience, learn different styles, both in leadership and entrepreneurship. It took a lot of things into the learning process. And the reason why I thought it was something I wanted to do was because I felt that I was one of those kind of persons who needed to be flexible. Being behind a desk Monday to Friday or doing the same things repetitively was probably not going to work for me. I just felt like there was a lot more I could give, and that was basically my pushing. And I also, so while I also believe that not everybody has an entrepreneurial spirit, I also believe strongly that I'm not the kind of person who would ever get to achieve things I want to achieve just working for somebody. I figured I needed to expand myself, meet more people, learn more, and I felt it was going to be a lot harder doing that under some sort of full-time employment. So I thought I could impact the world more if I was an entrepreneur, and that I thought was the push for me. Motivation for me is first is a lot of things do that actually, but I think more importantly is the fact that so let me give you guys a backstory. I was opportuned and lucky to leave Nigeria right after secondary school to go abroad to study. And at the time I did that, it was really hard for my parents, even financially, to get a lot of things done. But they sacrificed and made sure I traveled. So for me, I thought that if my parents could make that sacrifice, I needed to do something to make sure that that was worth it for them, and that I excelled more than let me put it this way, what I might have achieved if I was here. Now, who knows? The stars could have aligned differently, and who knows, if I didn't even travel, maybe I would be in a better place. But that has always motivated me that I should find a way to give back to them for the sacrifice, ensure that they see. Now, when I mean give back to them, I don't mean give them money. So that they realize that, okay, this boy that we sacrificed for is coming out with something great for himself. And then also, I plan to be involved in society a lot more, whether it be politics or in philanthropy and all of that stuff. And I'm motivated by the fact that I can do more from being an entrepreneur than if I was self-employed. Just a personal belief. Like I said, this thing works very different for different people. But those things motivate me. They push me to say, you know what, sure, you need to work harder. You need to push yourself, because then I get to meet more people. I get to find ways to be more involved in society, to be involved in individuals and helping them. And hopefully something great just comes out from that. For entrepreneurs, I basically would say that we do not have working hours, and things happen in the course of the day that you have to attend to. So basically, we're always working. But I would say, in as much as I like to always say I'm working, is actually not true. That sometimes that we do get to relax and downtime and have to deal with family and friends and all that stuff. So I would say on average, I spend at least 14 hours or 15 hours on my work every day. Because there are times when you think you're in bed and then you get a call or you get a message and it's to be attended to almost immediately. And because I have work that cuts across different, my business is not just in one industry. That different parts of the jobs of the different businesses require different times, but cumulatively they take about 15 hours, 16 hours in a day. Any day that is less, I'm grateful for, I'm happy for. But yes, but trust me, I also do not believe that the number of hours that you work all determines how much money you make. No, it's just because that's what that job requires at the time. There are jobs that will take me an hour to do, and you would actually end up making more revenue from. For business growth, the biggest things would always be customer retention. Not even having more customers, but retaining the customers that you have. I've always believed that being able to keep old and existing customers is the key for any business. I'm not big on marketing in terms of traditional marketing, advertising, all of that stuff. I believe in networking, and from that, gaining customers. Those customers then become repeat customers, who then refer you to other people. I feel like that's like the best form of organic growth for any business. I'm not where I think my business, or based on my targets, should be, but I think that we're pushing, we're getting there. But I still believe that customer retention, doing whatever you can with the best customer service, and not just customer service in terms of talkers relationship with them, but also the quality of your work. I feel like as far as you give value, so somebody tells you they want to do this job, the job is worth 5,000 naira. Give them the value of beyond even 5,000 naira. That way they are happy to come back, and they're happy to tell somebody else about the business. So that's basically been my plan and my not so secret for business growth. Of course, if we find some sort of ways to inject monies to go into advertising and marketing and all that stuff, that would be great, but it's not the cornerstone of what I would deem as the way for business to grow. So for me, family is like the cornerstone of everything I do. I'm really close with even my parents, you know what I mean, and my siblings and all that stuff. So how has being an entrepreneur affected that family life of mine? It's actually made life a lot greater for me. Because like I said, with being an entrepreneur, I'm flexible with my hours, I'm flexible with my time. It means that I get to even actually have more time for family. I can combine family and work at the same time for the most part. And that has even been a push for me. It also allowed me to have family involved in my work. So a lot of times I'm working for somebody else, it means that it's just you and your job. Probably you come back and tell them how your day was at work, but that's about it. But with being an entrepreneur, the family even feels like they're part of your business. They feel like it's also their duty to talk about your work, to push out your work, to talk about your work, to ensure they even get you customers or get you referrals. So for me, it's actually been great. For entrepreneurs, I think that one thing that we get to like or get to enjoy is flexibility. So what I mean flexibility is flexibility in timing, flexibility in business involvements. So for example, when I started NIRVANA Project Service Limited, I started with just media and entertainment, and also the signage and branding. And then a year and a half later, logistics came into it. So even though it was something that I always had in mind, it was part of the things I registered in CAC, but I didn't get to start at the time based on many other things. Whether I was involvement with finances, or even as far as even the time and even the skill to run it as I deemed fit. But I think what I enjoy is the flexibility, being flexible enough to be able to expand, grow, to scale down, to push up when I deem that it is right. Being also be able to relate to many people. If I was in employment, I probably might have a job in PR or something that requires me to meet people, but the fact that I get to meet people across different fields, different phases of life, different earning cadres, gets me to be relatable. So I enjoyed that. I enjoy the flexibility of it. I enjoy the fact that there are days when I don't have to be in an office, when I work from home, when there are days when I could be on the road for weeks and months based on whatever the job requires or the business requires. So the beauty that like I get to enjoy life and work at the same time. So I enjoy that part of it very, very much.
I've been using Colgate for quite some time, and it has been really nice. A friend actually introduced Colgate to me when I was having a toothache. So after I went for some medical checkup on my tooth, so ever since then I've been using Colgate, and I've never experienced such again. It has been good, and my teeth has been white.
I've been using Colgate. Colgate has been it for me. If I use Colgate, my teeth are always white and fresh, and my teeth are always stronger when I eat good meat and fish.
I like Colgate because of the kind fresh air I receive after brushing, and for that, I will always go for Colgate.
Depends on the business we are doing, the type of work we are doing. You have a work you can work at home and you make your money. You do it perfectly without even getting out of your house. But there are some that you have to do it outside. So depend on the kind of business or job you are doing.
I think they are more productive compared to those that resume in the office. Because why I'm saying that is because sometimes they have time on their own at home to do what they have to do. But once they resume in the office, to me, I feel there are a lot of distraction in the office. There can be maybe you do this without completing the first one. But once you are home, you have the time to know, okay, this is what I have to do. Once I'm done with this, I'll go over to the other one.
I think the ones that work in the office, they are more productive. The reason is that seeing each other, seeing ourselves in the office will make us to be active in our work.
I would say they are more productive because if you look at working in an organization, you have to be under supervision, and you have to be under the control of someone. So when you are working at home, you'll be more relaxed, you'll be more comfortable, you take your time at home, nobody is disturbing you. So I believe when you work from home, it's more productive than working in the office or any organization.
The level of work now it has shown during the time of lockdown. It has shown that working at home somehow may be productive. And what I mean is that when the time of lockdown, virtually everybody was at home, and I will see some things still being done. And in the economy, we discovered that there's something we call fintech. When I'm talking about fintech, it's talking about the correlation between the technology and how to manage your finances together. And virtually every aspect of the economy are being brought together in this regard. So when employees work at home, number one, it helps organization to save costs. And what I mean by it helps organization to save costs is that the cost of bringing your staff to your office to work is being reduced.
If you look at the present situation of things, I would say that if work from the home, they will be more productive, because most times you look at the traffic situation, before you might get to the office might take a whole lot of time, and by the time you get to the office you're already exhausted. So you can be more productive if you work from the house as far as you are able to deliver. So I would prefer to work from the home. Once my job has been defined, it's better to work from the home.